I can dig it.
That's where that's at.
Rightio, we're up.
Kick it.
We're off.
Kick it in the guts, bro.
It's kicked.
All right, welcome up, all you news hounds,
His hands.
seekers of the truth. My name's Anthony Irvine. I'm a councillor on Temora Shire Council. I've actually been at a council meeting tonight, but that's all finished. I'm here in my capacity as a free citizen and what do we call ourselves? A contestant, in the
Candidate?
candidate. That's the
Candidate's the word you're looking for.
A few
I can
people-
think of a couple of other
Yeah.
words that people
Steve,
would call us.
candidate in the
Champion.
upcoming state election for the seat of Riverina. Seat of Cootamundra?
Seat of Cootamundra.
Seat of
State.
Cootamundra.
Seat of Riverina when I decided to take McCormack's job.
Yeah. So anyway, we've been to council. We've had a fun night. We're here for the boring stuff.
I'll try and I'll try and pump it up a little bit so it's not all boring. Goodness.
No, but anyway, I will be referring to, and I don't think I've got it at hand tonight. I better get it.
You better get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to DNF Spin Doctors Thursday night. Obviously, my compatriot here has to get his little bit of paper there because he's got a lot more bum covering he needs to do in his capacity as a Temora Shire councillor. I, on the other hand, am quite comfortable in telling these people to fuck right off, and I don't have to adhere to their codes of conduct or any of their other communist rubbish, nor will I ever adhere to any of their communist rubbish. They can fuck right off. As I just said, happy days. In saying that, my name is Dean McRae. This is Anthony Irvine. He is not speaking in the capacity of a Temora Shire councillor, and I'm just speaking in the capacity of a free human who happens to have quite a few opinions. Some people like them, some people hate them, but I like to think that they're absolutely straight, honest, down the line, and as real as I can possibly make them for you, because let's be fair, the talking heads on mainstream media and all of your regular news outlets are effectively lying pricks who make shit up to get a good story or to paint a narrative to suit them. Not saying that we don't paint a narrative that suits us, of course, but we just try to be really, really, really transparent about what we stand for and what we don't stand for. We're not going to pretend to be unbiased. I know exactly what I'm biased about. And here we go. Free speech in local government. What a fine document.
Yep. So that's what I'll be relying upon tonight to protect me from any repercussions that may eventuate. And look, free speech in local government, if only there was such a thing. Anyway, this is the closest thing we've got. So, Uncle Ron, keep going. Anyway, so
right, let's get started on the let's get a recap. How was Temora Shire Council fucking meeting tonight? God, I'm glad I don't have to go to those things. My head had exploded. And I reckon the people in the building's head had exploded when I told them all to fuck right off. But you, on the other hand, are far more diplomatic than I.
Just for the viewers,
Christ.
These are the business papers from 1 month's council meetings. And the expectation is that you read all of that and you're across all of that and you declare all of the conflicts of interest and any other conflicts that you may have with it in regards to it. And you obtain all of the relevant information. So we had a fairly chunky paper.
What do you get? 12 grand a year for that? What's that per month, per folder?
Oh, I don't know. It's about 0.0000000.1 cent per page of reading. I know that.
Fuck that.
501 pages we had the pleasure of
dissecting
partaking in.
Yeah, right. Lucky you.
Now, I challenge anyone who's got a life to read 500 pages of this type of material. When you get it delivered to you last Friday. So last Friday, so I have a weekend plan.
Yes.
So generally, if I've got, if we were snowed in, I might read it.
Look,
I've got.
If you were a single bloke whose mum did his laundry and you didn't have much of a social life, no girlfriend, no kids, maybe single woman too, let's for argument's sake. But let's just say you didn't have much of a life. You Mummy did your laundry. You got a couple of gardeners, perhaps, to mow your lawns and shit.
But even then, to actually be across all the regulations,
Oh.
everything contained in this is not a hope.
There's got to be a lot fucking wrong with you if you've got time to digest that. And I hang out with fucking libertarians who
Yes.
are all overeducated fucking lunatics.
Yes.
They love that sort of shit. And I don't think most of them would digest that shit in a week.
No, and when you
Some would try because they're tardy like that. Like,
Some
they're
of
also
it's
pretty spurgy.
pretty hard.
I love
work.
their intellect, but they're spurgy as fuck.
And I'm telling you, you've got to be artistic to get down with this stuff. Fortunately, I'm artistic.
You're a bit into that, yeah. You're pretty well on the spectrum, I'm sure.
I'm artistic, very much, very much so. We've discussed that in previous episodes. If you want to go back and catch up, it's like you got to watch that.
Keep watching them, mate. Yeah, they're all online somewhere.
No, it was an interesting one. So we've got the results back from the auditors, and they didn't manage to find our $3.5 million that we lost, which was sad.
I think we found it for them last week. If the auditors are struggling to find it, I've pointed out quite a few places.
They just found that there was none of it got stolen.
So
it all got spent appropriately, but just a lot more got spent than got earned. Anyway,
I still consider it all fucking stolen. But anyway,
I've got an obligation here that I don't misrepresent the decisions of council, so I can't.
No, but I could certainly give a ratepayer's point of view of theft, waste, and pissing our money up the walls.
Well, there's all sorts of different things. I'll give you an example of something that I came across tonight. Now, in the councillor's business paper, I can't show you that pink stuff. That's confidential. You're not allowed to see that.
Well, I can't see your pink bits. Fair enough.
That's right.
That's fair. Very reasonable.
I was reading a report on the income from Temora Town Hall Theatre this year. And they do a report each month for the council.
Oh, the movie theatre?
It's councillor's information paper.
Yeah.
Now,
is that at least breaking even?
Well, you tell me.
Oh, good. I don't like the sound of that.
Income. Admissions. So we've got the candy bar income and then purchases. So expenses versus income. That seems to be running at a profit.
Well, that's good.
I like profit. Significantly down. It's down significantly on last year. For example, last year, at this point in time of the year, so it's year to date. So it's not cherry picking. It's a direct comparison.
Like for like. Yeah.
Last year, the candy bar was running at a profit of $10,487. This year, it's down to $6,372. So that's a pretty significant reduction, in excess of $4,000.
Yeah.
Of a ballpark $11,000 line item. So that's like you might as well say round figures of 37% reduction.
Yeah, righto.
So that's concerning. But you move down to the admissions income. This tells the story. Previous year to date, at this point in time during the course of the year, 26,640 income from admissions. This year, 13,787. So that's like a $13,000
significant
reduction. Well, it's a $13,000 reduction on a $26,000 figure.
So we're 50% drop off.
Yeah. Now I ask the question: is there any explanation as to why this figure has fallen off a cliff? Because it seems
significant.
Fallen off a cliff.
Yes.
And the answer I got from the director was that it's down to the quality of the movies. So he blamed Hollywood and Spielberg.
May we ask who the director is of the, or is that a bit of a personally thing?
No.
I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus. I just want to know.
The director of environmental services.
Oh, okay. So it's in his portfolio. Okay.
So in some respects, the director's blaming the directors in a roundabout sort of way, because he's attributed this reduction in income to poor quality movies.
And the candy bar thing is a thing that obviously that's just a natural reflection of how many people are coming through the door.
Yes.
So that dropping off is whatever. If your admissions are through the door, drop by 50%, you've got a significant problem.
But even facility hire. Last year it was 2,155 at this point in time. This year it's 941. So that's another 50% reduction.
It is interesting. Now, I've been to the movie theatre, I believe, twice in the last 12 months. It'll be about that.
Yep.
And I'm not a big movie goer.
No.
I'm not even a big movie fucking fan. Usually it's a bit of a It's oh, that's an interesting one. Just so you know, Dean, Facebook's playing funny buggers. I've just had to re-follow you. Ah, that is very interesting.
Well, that happens when you're on the spectrum.
Yeah, right. Ah, there you go. Very interesting. Well, we might need to stir a few pots there. And hey, Zuckerberg, I'm watching. Don't make me fucking call you.
So, in a nutshell, we've got a situation here where last year at this point in time for the Town Hall Theatre, for example, they had a profit of $2,303. Well, this year they've got a loss of $14,412. So that's a $12,000 turnaround.
So that tells me my pure first instinct is it needs to be either
$16,000
needs to be either shut or privatised.
Well, simply when you've got a council that are bleeding,
we're $3.5 million behind.
$3.5 million behind, and we've got one that's.
And I do like the fact that we have a cinema. I'm not going to pretend I'm going to use it more all of a sudden. That's not going to happen. If we didn't, well, okay. So I'll put it this way: I've been to this. I've probably been.
It's a bit like.
What year did The Sound of Freedom come out? Because anyone who's watching there that knows when that movie came out, that was one of the two last times that I've been to. I've been to that cinema twice. That movie was one of them. So if anybody knows what year that was out or what time frame, that might have even been 2 years ago, to be fair.
It's a bit like. Very rarely will you see. When I was a kid, I was at the birth of arcade games.
Yep.
The first one I remember playing when I was an absolute bloody pup was the tank one, where that was just so poorly rendered. There were two tanks that went through a maze, and you press the button and you fired this one block,
little nugget of graphic. Yeah.
And then the next one was Galaxia,
right,
which was a Space Invaders one.
2023. So 2023 was the second last time I was at the Temora Cinema.
But when you can sit at home now and play Call of Duty or whatever you want to play, the appeal of going to the arcade doesn't like.
It's not like it was. And I used to use that.
Basically just destroyed that whole industry. So the only time you would go to something like that is for a nostalgia trip. Now, there's picture theatres in Australia that exist purely on that nostalgia trip. Even there's a drive-in, or there's a couple of drive-ins that still exist in Australia. Because when I was a kid, there was a drive-in at Wagga Wagga. There was drive-ins all over the place.
Yeah.
And you could just drive it in your car, watch a movie, go home.
Yeah.
The only ones that exist now are for the nostalgia trip. And it's so unique. There's such an odd thing now that people will go there just to have that experience.
Well, it's like watching pubs. Pubs used to be, I mean, Temora's a great example. How many did we used to have? 14 or 15 if you count the ex-service, the bowling club and the golf club, 14 watering holes. Federal, the Grand, the Termo, the Shamrock, the Railway.
I read
a slew of them.
I read a historical document at one point, and I think there were up to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Bill Spears or whoever knows
the exact.
I believe there were 70 shanty taverns along the length of Hoskin Street back in the gold rush.
Yeah, right. That's 70. A little before my time.
But they were like timber floored, canvas walled, and I'd imagine
they were tents with beer in them.
I don't know even if you could call it beer.
Okay. Alcoholic.
It'd be some fermented concoction. That may be rum, it may be beer. It may be something
else.
Yes, it could be called moonshine. We don't know, but
I mean, when I was a kid growing up, though, there was probably 10 of them, and they always seemed pretty vibrant.
Yeah, so I only moved here in 2000. But when I moved here, there was still a number of pubs operating. There was the Grand Hotel, which is now a housing development.
Yep.
So it got bulldozed.
Yep.
The Federal had ceased. They'd had the fire.
The Federal had the fire there. Yeah, when I was a kid.
What else has shut? The Westie.
The Westie was still.
The Westie was trading. But so since I moved here in 2000, and we've had two surrender. But there's been periods where some of them have been shut.
Oh God, yeah. And you look at what have we got?
And I don't know whether the Royal's trading.
I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know if they've got a liquor license.
I'm not going to ask.
No, but so
you've got the Temora, you've got the Termo, you've got the Shamrock, and you've got
the Railway.
The Railway
and the Royal, maybe.
And we'll put the Royal down as a question.
The bowling club.
So we've gone from
this club and the golf club.
4 pubs. And okay, so when I was much younger, you'd go to the pub, and I spent a lot of time in the pub. I can know. But you'd go there for a couple of reasons. Drink beer, get in fights, possibly.
Yeah, but you can go there to
Chase
get into a fight,
girls.
sure.
No, but that was sort of part of the appeal. Was there was always something going to happen. It was always going to be.
Entertainment.
There was stuff going on.
It was like Fred Brophy's boxing tent.
Yeah, shit, yeah. And then you've got, you throw in. They had the big screen TVs. They might have had the tab. They might have had some poker machines. They had food, drink, entertainment. Now,
I remember pubs on Sky Channel used to be able to buy the Jeff Fennick fight.
Yes.
And they were a draw card because you couldn't get them at home.
You couldn't get them at home. But now you've got, my TV's not the biggest in the country, but it's pretty solid. That's a pretty big TV. Now,
but it's only a pub in
the scheme of things. But we used to go to the pubs because you watch the fights on the big screen.
Well,
now most people have a big screen. People have a big screen in there. They watch whatever they want at home. They don't have to worry about going to or on the way home. And I'm very familiar with that, as my enemies will tell you.
Watch what they want when they want.
And you don't even go down there to chase girls anymore because everyone does it on fucking Tinder or whatever. You don't even have to go to the trouble of putting your socks on to go out and chase girls anymore. You get to sit in your undies, drinking beer, watching your big TV, not worrying about being arrested.
Posting a photograph of your rock hard
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Your prospective wife.
But it's the same fucking thing with these things. If they don't find a way to evolve, now a lot of the modern pubs have evolved into they're just glorified dining establishments now. They're basically even you look at there's no nightlife in Temora anymore that would resemble anything like what we used to have here when the Westie and the Temora Hotel were rocking and rolling, and it turns into a nightclub after 10 o'clock, and all the kids would go wild and all this sort of shit. Tinder, I think younger guys are just dating AI. I've had a couple of girlfriends, and I'll tell you what, AI girlfriends would probably be preferable, but that's life. We live and we learn. But you go back into that thought process, and most of these pubs are now glorified restaurants, just a slightly different style of restaurant to the restaurants that I grew up cooking in, which was proper fine dining restaurants. They don't really have a market out here in the bush. You've just got these pubs that purport to be food establishments, and that's where where they've evolved to. How do you evolve a community theatre? I can watch every single one of them movies at home for $6. I can go down to Woolies and buy a bag of chips for, I can halve my costs. Where is the added? I know there's the little popcorn machine, which is
this is the whole thing, and it's about the user experience. Now, it's not a bad little presentation space for some certain gatherings. I don't know whether they're maximising that for the commercial, the corporate sense. So if you've got a workforce or someone that you want to actually have a bit of a Zoom meeting or something like that with the IT element of it, and have some sort of a online training delivered to a group in a comfortable environment, you could use it for that. There's a lot of uses there, but it's another one of those things that.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with Dunstan's. I assume it was Dunstan who's the manager.
Well, he's the director.
Yeah, he's the director. Sorry. I'm not going to disagree with him. The movies of the last 20 years, there's been nothing that's come on board that's made me go, fuck, I really want to go and see that.
Well,
and I get it. I'm not a movie buff, so
to sit there and blame a 50% downturn in the patronage of a theatre purely on the quality of the movies, I think
that's a stretch for sure.
That's a long.
I'm just giving him the fact that yes, there hasn't been one movie I've seen come out advertised that'll make me go, fuck, I really need to go and see that.
If I was in charge of that venue, I would have the cover off the panic button, and I would have my hand here.
Yeah,
because it's been in place now for a period of time where things like this shouldn't happen.
Well, how long's this thing been in existence, this little theatre? And I think it's a good idea. I'm not going to rag it off. I actually think it's quite a good idea.
It have to be at least 10 years.
Okay, so at some point you've either got to find an operator who can operate and knows what they're doing in that space. I don't know anything about it. Or you shut the fucking thing up.
Well,
you can't keep feeding a dead horse.
Look, there's certain council enterprises that bleed money, but
I disapprove of all of them.
Well, that's exactly right. But there's
if they bleed money, they need to either be privatised or closed.
Well, council will choose to bleed money if
it's a pet project for somebody in the club.
If there's benefit being derived from a large number of residents. So if the residents say, we know it costs a bit of money, but we want it, like it's like the sporting grounds.
Well, we'll get onto them soon
Yeah.
because I've got a little bit of a.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
so that's just a micro snapshot of one.
I would be absolutely, if I was Shire Council, with looking at that, I'd be turning around, I'd be putting out tenders for somebody to take it over and run it as a business. And obviously, in realistic terms, the council becomes maybe a landlord that doesn't charge rent for the first 12 months or something. So some aspiring young entrepreneur in town could go, oh, I could have a crack at this and turn it into a business, perhaps.
No, there's a fair few cans of worms in this month's
At least then they wouldn't be losing 15 grand. They'd arguably be going,
saving.
okay, it's not costing us 14, or we're not spinning that welfare churn into 15 grand loss. Somebody else's problem, and we're just not getting a real rent
Well,
out
that's
of
at
it.
about the half year mark.
Well, so it's going to be a 30 grand loss for
Well,
the
we
good
don't
job.
know.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I'll turn it around.
I hope so, but I'm not confident.
No, there's all sorts of funny things. There was a draft sewage management plan, which is an outcome from the decision not to progress a reticulated sewage scheme in Area Park. So there's an ad hoc or a situation at Area Park in the village where there's old septic systems, there's newer aerated wastewater management systems, there's a bit of a mixture of processes, and now that they're not going to put the formalised sewage system in, they have to develop some sort of a program to manage that, because as the town develops and as these spare blocks are taken up, the management of this product is going to be important. So, but there's far-reaching consequences from this draft sewage management plan, because pretty much it relates to every single property within the Shire that cannot connect to Temora Town's sewage scheme.
Right.
So that includes every single rural property, and there's some pretty big fines if you don't comply. Now, it really begs the question as to if you've got a farmhouse out there that's used intermittently, and it's got a septic tank, according to the policy, you have to register it. And then there's this great big checklist that you have to complete, and there's the threat of a $2,200 fine for non-compliance.
So I already oppose the complete scheme. Fuck off. Stop it.
I just think...
Mind your business.
No, I just think it's a bigger issue than... It was one that just sort of slid through and no one really raised any concerns.
Right.
And I think the concerns are going to come later.
Yeah.
So it's one of those ones that I think needs to be done properly. It's a very wordy document with a lot of repetition, and it's very technical, which I don't think is going to be accepted and embraced well by the community, because technical documents don't really fly.
Nobody wants to read any of that shit that you produce.
No.
Like, I love you to bits, and I'm happy enough to sit here with you with your 58 folders. But I can tell you, there's a reason we voted you into the role on council, because none of us want to read that shit.
No.
You know,
I took a course in speed reading.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not saying you love it, but you're willing to digest that shit. The average punter doesn't want to know anything about this shit.
That's the whole thing, and this is the problem when you've got a situation where if people don't come to heel,
you've got wankers that get paid to produce this shit all day while everybody else is out working, earning a useful living, doing something productive. You've got something, and I'm not saying the person who produces, they might be a really lovely person, but their job shouldn't exist if this is their fucking job, creating this sort of crap.
Well,
it has no... If your farm has a septic tank on it, that's between you and the bloke who comes to clean your septic tank. End of fucking story. No bureaucrat in any little local government office has any say over what goes on your farm.
No, but even there's probably places in the villages that aren't even on this register. Like there's so much. They've left it so spongy that pretty much they won't do anything unless they get a complaint.
They shouldn't do anything even if they do. Mind
Yes,
their business.
But what happens when you get a complaint? And that's where you start, that's when the rubber hits the road. And that's when your legislation is tested. And if you haven't got robust and well-considered legislation, then
Well, I'll just sit in the office and somebody will come in and go, I've got a complaint. And I'll go, excellent. There's the door. Fuck off. See ya.
no, well, it doesn't work
Perfectly
like
right.
that.
Look, it'll
No,
run perfectly.
it doesn't work like
That would work really
that.
well.
It doesn't work like
They go, I'm very upset. I go, excellent. I'm the complaints department. Fuck off.
that. See, I read the fine for non-compliance, but do you think I can find it now? That's an indication of just how.
Mate, you've got a 500-page folder in front of you.
Yes, I know.
It's a 500-page folder.
Yes.
Don't be disappointed
Oh,
if you
here we
can't find it.
Right. Why wouldn't I have found it? It's at Annexure 3.
Annexure 3. for
Annexure
God's
3 of this on page 257. Why wouldn't I have found it?
Yeah, fuck.
Some systems may require a renewable annual approval. Failure to obtain approval may result in penalties of up to $2,200. That statement alone rings alarm bells for me. May.
Mate, yeah.
No.
We'll pick and choose. No, it either it does or
you
it
show
doesn't.
me the rules and either it will or it won't.
Yeah, yeah.
This may means that it's arbitrary. It means that it's
Well, we don't like that bloke, so fuck it.
subjective.
We'll sting him because he's a prick.
Well,
And that person there, we like him. He's part of our gang, so we'll let him get
but
away.
not even at that corrupt level. It's just this sponginess that needs not be there. If you're gonna threaten someone with a $2,200 fine,
If you're gonna overreach and stick your nose in other people's business, be really, really thorough and particular about how you do it.
if you
when
currently
you get
have an
smacked with the mouth.
on-site sewage management system on your property, please complete the attached form and return to the general manager.
And how would they even know what's on my property?
Well,
It's
but-
none of their business.
and then you have this.
If I have a property, I got a farm, I got 10,000 acres for
If
argument's
you're in the
sake.
middle of harvest and you get, well, whatever. Whenever you're doing something, this is just more paperwork. And to what end? Where's it going to sit? What's it going to do? I don't know. And
Right, so you're a farmer. You're in the middle of harvest. You've got one of these going on. Let's be fair. Bureaucrats are dumb as fucking bags of hammers. They're going to wander out there in the middle of harvest and going, "How come this is here? It's not registered." And some cranky farmer's going to go fucking bang
yes,
and knock some fuckwit bureaucrat out. I'll be cheering, going, "Well, sucked in,
But
well
listen to this.
deserved."
listen to this.
But-
Listen to this for a statement. Regulation. The state government has enacted the Local Government Amendment Regulation 1998 that requires owners/occupiers of all relevant premises to apply to council for approval to operate an on-site sewage management system. So, where is the description of relevant?
Yeah.
You know, that word should be removed. That requires owners, occupiers of all premises that have on-site
All
sewage management.
relevant premises.
No,
Well, my premises are irrelevant.
Well-
I'll even name it irrelevant.
But relevant, there needs to be a descriptor. Like, so the policy, to my mind, isn't a welcome policy. I think it's going to cause more trouble than it fixes.
It is, and it's going to create a heap of cranky farmers.
Poor
And-
policy, like one of those, poor policy equals piss poor performance, or like poor policy creates more trouble than it's worth.
Creates over entitled wankers sticking their nose into people's
Well,
businesses.
and this subjective element of it.
Yeah, fuck off.
So now, and then it brings me on to the next one. We've got this scoping report for a rezoning. It's got some questions about it.
Questions.
Well,
Who's doing shady shit?
no, there's just some questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to ask
Plenty
those
of
questions
questions.
over the course of the next month, and maybe we'll be able to report back a little bit more next month. So I've got
That's
some questions.
Fantastic.
I've noted those things as questions. Yeah, look, it's pretty much confirmation that we lost $3.5 million and there's no shady business going on with where it went. We all know where it went.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
You don't consider that shady business. I consider it completely fucked.
no,
anyway.
but at least it hasn't gone to locations unknown. So
Thank goodness.
yes.
Thank goodness.
It was really interesting at the
All,
opening of the meeting.
all theft has been accounted for.
Yeah, at the opening of the meeting, I'm going to play when the recording becomes available. I'm going to replay. I'll play some of the recording for you. There's some interesting stuff that went down this meeting. So, yeah, there you go, kids. 520 pages of council policy.
Jesus H. Christ.
That's what it takes to run a council these days. And yeah, look, this. Oh, I suppose no. One thing that I did tell the viewers that would be coming out next month has actually arrived in our inboxes early. It's an early Christmas present. And that is the reporting on the cost of codes of conduct.
What page is that on? I bet you got that memorised.
No, I've got to look at the index. 161. So page 161 in your notes, kids, or anyone who's following, if they've printed out the model code. No, that's the code of meeting practice. I've got my codes mixed up. I apologise. Code of conduct statistics, page 433. Friends following along at home with the downloaded minutes, page 433. Now, there's been a bit of a blowout in these costs. Council have expended in the past 12 months on codes of conduct $37,436, and it appears to be
that could be used to prop up the fucking cinema.
Well, it could be used for a lot of things. Anyway, that's whatever it's used for. It appears as though there's been the total number of complaints received in the reporting period about councillors and the general manager under the code of conduct from the following sources. So this is where the code of conducts have come from. So we've had one come from the general manager. Okay.
So the general manager's filed a code of conduct. When did you hurt her feelings?
Now, no, that's just and don't say it's all about me.
What? Who else has got a code of conduct in
Well, that's right. There was one dealt with this year regarding me, and they censured me.
I'm sure they'd love to give me one.
That was the report that 2 pages of that final investigation report were included in a final investigation report that was provided to Lithgow City Council.
Oh,
yeah, you recall that?
Yeah, just to show that they like to cut and paste because they're fucking hopeless.
Well,
cost us $1 billion to cut and paste your codes of conduct to talk about our show.
Paid $37,500 for code of conduct investigations on one matter, and 2 pages of that final investigation report was sent to another council.
Yes.
By the investigator.
Yeah, because the investigators are peanuts.
Well, I don't know what the investigator is. He might be a walnut. He might be a cashew. We don't know what type of nut the investigator may be.
An overpaid fucking nut in my ever so humble opinion.
What we do have is evidence that 2 pages out of a confidential Temora Shire Council paid for report ended up in a another council's inbox. Well, how that can happen in this day and age, and the seriousness taken by these people who are getting paid, look, the total cost of dealing with code of conduct complaints within the period made about councillors and the GM, including staff costs, was $29,893. But there was also a further figure of cost of dealing with code of conduct complaints via preliminary assessment. So they do a preliminary assessment, and then they do the investigation. So they've spent $37,500 and on one investigation, because it says one investigation there in that column. So I'm not making anything up.
So is it really out of the realm of possibility that everyone just says stop paying rates to this wasteful bullshit and just go, we're not doing it, fuck off?
Well, I just I struggle.
I know there are legal arguments that suggest rates in and of themselves are an illegal charge anyway.
There seems to be
People
some
only
sort
pay
of
them
code
to-
of conduct, cost inflation, because the council had spent the equivalent of approximately, and I'm only going off figures that I've got in my head, and I'd have to go back and check them.
That's right. We nearly every episode we say that when we produce figures, we either say this is the exact figure, read it verbatim,
my
or
recollection
we're in the ballpark of,
was that council had spent approximately $80,000 in the past 2 years combined.
Yep.
And I think that had dealt with about 4 codes of conduct. So that was an average cost per code of conduct of about $20,000. Now, this particular code of conduct seems to have come at a cost of about $37,000. So that's ballpark.
They've given themselves a pay rise.
100% increase in the cost per investigation. But the disturbing element of that is that 2 pages of that final investigation report ends up with another council.
By accident, you can only assume.
Well, surely
we certainly need to invite that councillor on the program since he's made an appearance, or since we've made an appearance in his code of conduct. The least he can do is come on as a guest.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's extraordinary. Anyway, that's pretty hard to get your head around.
It's a circus, is what it is.
Anyway, so that's the council meeting. There's a lot of stuff to play out. There's a hell of a lot more good bits, juicy bits that'll come to the fore in the I reckon the weeks and the months. So there's a lot in this 517 pages, and we'll be referring back to this folder, I think, on a number of occasions. So I'll keep it handy. I'll keep that one handy.
I'm not going to pretend that I look forward to that.
No, but I will. But no, you will, because when we come back and there's sort of some meat on the bones of some of these.
Oh, look, yeah, I'm going to love absolutely verbally shredding these people.
No, well, you don't have to.
Oh, no, I enjoy it.
More often than not, they do themselves.
Well, yeah, they give me the ammunition, they give me all the tools, and I just
anyway. We're going to
wrap it up.
We're going to listen to some recordings. We're going to play some tapes. We're going to have some fun. Now, would you believe?
Well, we did
Friday. Am I okay? I've just noticed that. Noel Fisher. Noel. Are you on channel Noel Fisher? For anyone who's not sure, Noel Fisher is the editor of
the Hit Job Herald,
the Temora Independent newspaper. Now, let me just check. He's listed as a journalist, but he's the first journalist listed.
So they don't have an editor.
So,
which is probably good. The last one they had was a complete fucking retard.
Well, that's your opinion.
I'll stick to it too.
Now, this is published by Hartley Higgins for Riverina Media Group from 193 Hoskin Street, Temora. Responsibility for election comment is accepted by Noel Fisher. So that would indicate that Noel has some sort of a leading role in the organisation.
You would have to think so, I guess.
Well, I hate to fucking break it to you, Noel.
Today's Thursday, son.
Yep, and on the front page you've got Friday, November 20, 2025.
So we've got the day wrong. Okay.
So this newspaper is one of a kind. It's a unique publication.
It's a unique publication.
Now, just for the viewers.
And I'll just say this, right?
Just for the viewers. Friday, November 20, 2025. So Noel.
I'll say this though, like, because on occasion people come out with these diatribes that when I go on a bit of a rant or I word something or I write something up, right, that, well, you missed a comma or whatever the fuck, right? Now, I am not now, nor have I ever professed to be a fucking writer. You know,
I've just noticed
I type exactly as I talk, but I would suspect that an editor or a journalist with the side of a newspaper who spends, it's literally one newspaper a week, so it's not like it's a daily and he's under the Facebook.
There's a Facebook post in this, I can tell you, because
you've got 7 days to figure out what day of the week the paper goes out on.
Friday,
and
November
again,
20.
Errors happen, but I'm far more critical of somebody who gets paid a reasonable wage to be the paper editor.
But even just,
I'm just trying to give the guy
future.
I'm giving the guy an out, right?
In the future, if you said to someone, go and get a copy of the Thursday, November 20, Temora Independent, and they'll go, doesn't exist.
Historically, if anyone paid any attention to this shit, which a few people do,
No, but these things get put online. There's all sorts of old newspapers that get uploaded to Trove, and
it's now a collector's edition. And you've just fucking scribbled on it. Come on, Anthony.
Well,
that'll be worth like $4 in 55 years.
It's $2.50 including GST.
So now that there's an error, we've advertised it. It'll go on eBay for at least $4.
Is there a form guide in here?
Fuck knows.
Is there lotto numbers in here?
We're going to find out. Have a look.
Well, if
I'll tell you what, there isn't in there.
But this could be the crystal ball that we've been looking for. This could be the break that we need.
Yeah, quick.
We can back all tomorrow's winners.
Maybe this is the only one with Friday.
I'm going to open a betting account now.
I've got one. Don't worry about it.
Okay. We need to get some bets on. If we've got tomorrow's paper, this is big.
This is huge. Yeah, fuck, game on.
I don't know whether we have. I think, look, this paper, apart from the date, is unique in Timora's history.
No, there is a second reason, yes. Now, we failed to do something last week. We ran out of fucking time. There's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah. So last week, generally, we've got a little segment we do on this show, and we try and get it done every week, is we pull out our
Hit Job Errol,
well-thumbed copy of the Timora Independent, and because it's just a, what would you say? It's a barometer of the community sentiment. Anyway, the barometer was in a high pressure zone last week because last week
But it's good to know you read my stuff, Howard. That's how I know you read every word, my friend.
Now, last week, our illustrious mayor, Councillor Rick Furman, OAM.
We do Rick picks.
We do Rick picks. And last week,
apparently it's trending on Twitter.
Well, Mr. Fisher managed to put on the front page, there was a photo of our mayor and Michael what's his face?
Michael soon to be unemployed.
And then there was 2 pages lacking, but then he made a comeback on page 4, so we're up to 2. And then there was a bit of a drought.
There was actually some other humans who have seemingly been involved in some things.
He made a comeback at page 7, and he actually got 2 photos. So he was running at 4 photos out of 7 pages.
Very important person, you know that, right?
Well, I'm just saying it's Saudi. So 4 out of 7, and then there was a bit of but no, we got up to page 11, and there were 2 photographs. So we're up to 6 out of 11. So we're running at better than 50%. And then I think the drought set in.
Then I think it wound up.
And then no.
Oh, there it is. Oh no, that's Angus Crichton. Sorry.
No.
The Australian jersey confused me.
No, it wasn't playing cricket. Wasn't playing
tennis.
Okay, so
6 last week.
6.
Right. And
this week.
How many Rick picks have we got this week in the paper? Big fat 0. Come on, I find it hard to believe.
Well,
somebody needs to file a complaint with Mr. Fisher.
But there's none.
No, I don't believe that for a fucking second.
None.
Come on, he's got to be in the background. It's like, where's Wally?
No, I've scanned them as closely as I can.
Really?
And
well, we're going to die of the fucking bird flu again. These people are off their rockers.
But Dave McCann gets a run from Coolaman, the mayor of Coolaman. Michael what's his face gets a run.
Yeah, that's in the rural time, so that's not really the Timora paper. Is he in the rest
Councillor
of that?
Judd gets a run.
Hang on. Well, hang on. A councillor made the paper, not you for naughtiness.
No.
Without having his hand held by the true authority of T10. Now, I heard a whisper. Now, tell me if this is true.
Well,
you might not know.
Just first things first. This edition of the Timora Independent, I think it needs to be put in a glass cabinet.
Well, I tell you, mate, it's going to be worth $4 on eBay.
It needs to be put in a glass cabinet out at the Bundawarra Centre, because this is a unique publication. This is
first newspaper in 25 years that hasn't got any Rick pics and it's got the wrong date. Fantastic.
No Rick pics, but the date one, that's serious, Noel. No.
There's going to be a line up outside the door of your offices.
I don't know what we can do with that. I hope they don't print a calendar like a Tomorrow Independent calendar that, that they distribute to all their...
All the councillors can pose. You'll all be, and I could see that. Like the firemen's calendars.
Like, I don't know how many times I've actually thought, what's today's date? And you look at the paper.
I don't read the paper. So no. If I was going to read a paper, it'd be the Financial Times or something along those lines. I have no interest whatsoever in reading this, other than for the amusement with which we participate on this Thursday night.
But unfortunately, there's no form guide, there's no racing results, there's no lotto numbers, there's nothing that can actually help us with a copy of tomorrow's paper. So I'm a bit disappointed. So we've had tomorrow's news today. And it hasn't really helped us, which is that's everyone's very to get tomorrow's paper, isn't it?
That's a bit of a thing, isn't it? What was that? Back to the Future.
Well, I'm telling you, if you can get tomorrow's paper, you're
doing well.
The amount of times I've thought if I could just have tomorrow's paper, well, I've got tomorrow's paper, and what good's it done me?
Out of control.
Well,
out of control.
God, damn. Even when I have good luck, it's bad luck.
Well, look.
Now, I don't know what we can put down. What can we put that down to? Why are there no photos of the mayor in the paper? Like Mr. Fisher.
There might not be any available. There might be a shortage of photos of the mayor.
No. Mr. Fisher has got a long lens. And I'm telling you, he uses it with he just uses it.
I don't know, Mr. Fisher. I couldn't pick him out of a police lineup either.
He's got a lens that long. I've seen it.
You've seen it?
He's had fantastic. He's had it out of a couple of events I've been at.
Does he get around in a Dean McRae t-shirt or what? He should.
No, he doesn't.
He fucking should. There should be just Dean McRae t-shirts.
Anyway, like I say, so Mr. Fisher's lens hasn't been long enough this week to seek him here and seek him there. And I don't know. I think there'll be some complaints. There'll probably be some letters to the editor next week on Friday the 13th or whatever it might be, whatever next week's date might be.
Why wasn't
publication?
Why wasn't the mayor in the paper?
Anyway, it'll probably be on Christmas Day on December the 24th or something.
Oh, for God's sake.
Or maybe New Year's Day on the 2nd of January. I don't know. Could it be Australia Day on the 22nd of January? We don't know.
We don't know. It could be anything.
All the dates that used to matter.
Mr. Fisher may be a time traveller.
Mr. Fisher could be.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. If he keeps up his shenanigans of not publishing enough photos of the mayor,
he'll be looking for a new job.
He'll be a traveller.
Yeah, fuck. He'll be out on his ass.
He'll be out of time, but he'll be a traveller.
Yeah, you got to have at least fucking 5 per week, or you'll get in trouble, my friend.
That's the funny part of the show. That's the satire. That's the jokes. See, I didn't show you the bit in the guidelines to free speech for councillors, but you're allowed to be a joker and have a few jokes and have a bit of satire. Yeah,
that's like
that's like for anyone who took offence. Right.
Well, see, you're so much more diplomatic than I am.
Well,
if you take offence to anything, I really don't fucking care.
Well, I'm just trying to be a man of the people.
Offences are, taken, not given. I can't give you offence. If you're a fucking sook,
you can.
That's on you.
Well,
yeah. Well,
look. All right, let's wrap it up now.
Well,
we've got another. The last thing
from your council business.
From the council business before we bore everyone, and I know it's a cure for insomnia and anyone who's.
Well, at least it's convinced. This is why Edith sleeps so well on a Thursday night. She sits there and watches Daddy waffle on with his mate and upset people.
We've got a really disturbing announcement from Area Park Community Group. Now,
right,
listen to this, and you tell me where's the world coming to?
Well, I could tell you, and you want to know where the world's going to? Watch other posts.
But listen to this.
You'll see where it's going.
Administrator noted temporary pause of community page. This is Area Park Community,
which is big biggies. We're talking world peace.
But it's a really valuable asset for the community, and it really keeps people connected.
Absolutely.
As the administrator and founder of this community Facebook group, I have now been faced with legal action.
I have consistently attempted to manage the page fairly, responsibly, and without judgment or opinion. I've also been navigating this while working, including today, as I write this from work, still trying to complete my day. Due to the seriousness of the situation, I've made the decision to place the group on a period of separation. This gives space for all those involved in any dispute to address matters independently and through the appropriate channels. I wish to make it clear, I'm a volunteer. I'm a third party with no involvement in the dispute/issues or have opinions on the same. Any further escalation may have consequences beyond this page. Please be mindful that continuing against advice affects not only those directly involved, but other members of the community as well. I remain hopeful that in time this page can return to its purpose, supporting, informing and uniting our community. Until then, it must be paused for everyone's protection. Thank you for your understanding. That's from the administrator of Area Park Community Group.
Now,
Now, I can only go back to yesterday's post at 10:59 from the administrator. A formal complaint has been received, and as administrators, we are required to respond in line with community page guidelines. This response is not based on personal opinion, but on the responsibility to uphold fair and respectful conduct. Please remember, do not contact Brad independently with rants or personal criticism, so there seems to have been some negative behaviour. Any concerns must be directed through the appropriate formal channels. Strong or targeted wording, even without naming anyone, may put the future of this page at risk. Feel free to post on your own personal pages. So, and here's some further. A formal complaint's been made about the tone of the original post, and this is regarding the Area Park Railway Dam. Although no names were mentioned, it's been raised that the wording may imply individual blame. While questions around the dam works are valid, this page must avoid language that could be interpreted as targeting specific people. So I don't know if the original post is there. I think it was on the
I
weekend.
would assume not. Even I saw it. I don't think I'm on the Area Park community page per se. I'm banned from a couple of Temora ones.
Yes, but you'd think if it had been shared on social media, it still exists somewhere.
Oh, there'd be screenshots somewhere. There'd be.
Anyway,
I just saw one there from the TMFM. Are they some of the false Christians that our mate Ribbo was talking about?
Oh, Ribbo just shit the bed, didn't he?
That was fantastic. I'm not going to lie to you. That was the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
That was the best rant.
I can do a cracking rant, but I'll tell you what, I was very, very impressed with Ribbo's 9-minute fucking launch tirade.
I'm really disappointed to think that someone would have made legal threats against
an administrator for something like that.
On a community.
Unfortunately, the way the world works now, and you're currently suffering a lot of it through the council leading the charge with, dickhead performances about what can and can't be posted, and that censorship sort of alley, and it is a very hairy space to be in.
Well, it's going to get hairier with the E-Commissioner.
Oh, look, that fuckwit needs to be deported, and that position needs to be abolished. End of story. That problem is now solved. I'm going to deport her and have that position abolished.
Yeah, but that's good. Get it done.
I'm working on it.
Because the US are calling Australia's E-Safety Commissioner out. This is on ABC News, which can or cannot be trusted news source, because there has been instances where the ABC have actually edited news clips and inserted gunshots in certain video, and
they have been known to lie their asses off.
Done other sorts of silly things.
A $1 billion waste of taxpayers' money. The ABC, another government waste that should be fucking completely abolished and shut down.
The headline says it all. Australia's E-Safety Commissioner called to testify before the US Congress and labelled a zealot.
Jim Jordan's the congressman. That's
Yeah. So, and Julie Inman Grant is a.
she's a fucking yank.
Yes.
She needs to be put on a plane, sent back where she fucking
So
comes
she's not.
from.
She
Trump
wasn't
can
born
deal
in
with her.
Australia. She was born in the US.
No,
She's out here leading world first legislation
to censor our children, dictate to parents, and overreach all of our ability for free and fair communication
So-
as we see fit.
America. There's plenty of things wrong with America, but one of the things right about America is their right to free speech, and they protect it.
You've got to protect it with their freedom to have guns. It's fantastic.
Well, they do. They protect it.
We
with
need
this.
guns and we need free speech. I'm all for it.
Well, they've got concerns that she's harming America's free speech.
The
Safety Commission.
the Second Amendment is to confirm that the First Amendment stays protected.
Yes. Now, it
I mean,
gets.
she is an absolute zealot. If you've watched her speak on any platform ever, she is a full communist retard
Well,
who doesn't want anybody doing anything she doesn't approve of. She's a fucking lunatic and
the
should be in a
Safety
cage.
Commissioner received a letter from US Congressional Committee Chairman Jim Jordan on Tuesday, which took aim at Ms. Inman Grant individually, as well as Australia's Online Safety Act, describing it as a foreign censorship regime. Now, that's something you expect to be labelled at China.
China or North
But here
Korea.
we are in free Australia, democratic Australia. But
It's
the censorship is absolutely off the chart.
It's world level censorship is what we're undertaking here at the moment. We're not quite at the stage of Nepal yet. We're not chasing politicians out of their houses, but hopefully in good time, as these things unfold.
Did you hear a world leader got sentenced to death?
Who was that?
Hang on, we'll just wrap this point up, but I'll find the news article.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so there's another line in this article because I read it today. About the commissioner tried to direct Elon Musk's Twitter platform, or what it used to be
X,
formerly
yeah.
known as Twitter, is now known as X, to take down some footage that had been posted of some less than.
Well, it was the bishop in Sydney that got attacked by a Muslim
Yes.
bloke.
Yes.
He was stabbed in the face, I believe,
Yes.
and it went viral because there were cameras in the church
Yeah.
or what have you. And because it was a Muslim bloke, it had to be removed because it feeds Islamophobia. No, it feeds the phobia of people coming around wanting to fucking stab you.
But it feeds the truth.
Yeah,
It feeds the
absolutely.
truth. This is what happened. And if you're up for looking at it as an adult, why should you be denied that opportunity?
Yeah.
And it should be your choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The idea that you can look at this and you can't look at that. Anyway, the force X to remove or hide about 65 instances of footage showing the stabbing attack on Bishop Marmari Emmanuel in Western Sydney last April. So there is some going off, and I think there's a line in here. I'm just trying to find it where this is world first legislation that Australia's enacting.
Yeah.
Here we go. While e-safety did not specify what the current priorities were, Australia's world first teen social media ban is due to come into force in December 10th. And the Commissioner is expected to enforce it. Now, teen social media, those three words could be put in any order and they all connect and they all fit. Social teen media, media teen social, social teen media. Like, this is teens are social and they engage in media. And it's like, I don't know how on earth any parent is going to be expected to say, you can't access that, or you can't access that, or.
That's because daddy government's doing it for us, you see.
But
Because
even daddy government.
we as parents are not competent enough to
Yes.
tell our children what we
But
can
even
or can't
daddy
do.
government.
So we need
Yes.
They have to save us
Yes, but Daddy
and
Government,
undermine the living fuck out of every parent in Australia.
can
as
you
usual.
imagine? Can you imagine the world wars that will break out in households around Australia when, you know, kids can't access the internet? Can't access
That's only a minor part of it, right? Because this isn't going to protect children from anything. They can still log on to Pornhub.
Yes.
No problem with Pornhub. You can get on there. You want
Yes.
to watch one of them fucking,
And
highly
we all know that
violent
there's-
anything.
we all know that there's a million other ways that people can be corrupted in the online environment. We just know
Absolutely.
that. So we know that there's grooming takes place online. We know that there's all sorts of online chat rooms where less
Oh, look,
than
that can happen in sporting clubs too. The whole grooming
Yes.
thing. There are fuckwits everywhere.
yes, but it's the new playground for this
Yes.
type of individuals. It's just an extension of their previous.
What it is, it's leading us all into a digital ID. There is no ifs, buts, maybes. That's what it's going to be.
Yes, and
Because how else? And I'll have to retract that a little bit, or sort of step back into the last community issue I was going to bring up. But they're trying to force every single adult to prove that you're over 18. Now, how do you prove you're over 18 in the social media ban for 15-year-olds? You're going to have to upload your digital ID so that you can then, as a consenting adult, see what you want to see, build whatever social media programs you want to see. It's absolutely backdooring all of us, and we're about to get fucking raped, ladies and gentlemen. So lube up, it's coming, and if you're willing to cop it, well, you're a fucking fool. Now, on the other side of it, what I was going to go back to, I mentioned to you the other week about the swimming pool caper. So it turns out that now in Timor you're not allowed to go to the swimming pool if you're under the age of 14 without an adult. And I said to you I wasn't going to bring it up too much or go too hard at anybody until I had the right information, etc., etc. Now it appears that if you're under 14, you're not allowed into the pool without an adult.
Mhm.
My question, and I'm going to say this as gently as I can, because the lady that runs the pool, I don't really know. I've met her maybe twice, say hello, whatever. I know she's best person in the world, worst person in the world. It's completely irrelevant to what I'm saying. Do not take offense to that. Her staff, from what I've seen, are all maybe 14-year-olds at best. Who's going to enforce this shit? Who out of a pool superintendent, the other pool superintendent, or any of the children that work in that fucking vicinity is qualified to, one, identify a child's age, two, ask a child under the age of 14 for ID, which none of them fucking have because you can't get it until you're 16. How are they going to, with any genuine legitimacy, enforce that fucking rule? Because if you're the pool superintendent,
again, and it comes back to that discussion around the policy around the sewage compliance. Poor policy. So
it doesn't work. Now, I also, and I know this is going to hurt some feelings, but I've had 3 uncles that have all been pool superintendents, and they've been doing a little homework for me. Apparently, it's not the recommendations, and no insurance company in the world would force any council to do that. And it's also not a policy of Life Saving Australia, is one of those mobs, has some sort of a recommendation of whatever. It's a decision by the operators of the Temora Town Pool. Let's not let anybody abdicate their responsibility or the decisions that they've made in this space.
No, they've got insurance coverage to cover them to do what they want to do, and that's adequate for them.
They've chosen to take this position, and they're using the insurance as a fob off, right? Because an awful lot of parents, myself included, I've got a kid that swims like a fucking fish. I'm not going to take a day off work so that I can go and hold his hand at the swimming pool.
No.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Now, the other portion of that is you've got kids who go in there. Now, I know for a fact that
if it's a behavioural thing, you can say, okay, kids, if you don't behave, we're going to kick you out.
Absolutely.
And you're barred for a week, or then you're barred for a month.
The same way it used to work anyway.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, though, is as a council run pool, the pressure on those kids to be staff there, they're taking you $5 at the entry point. They know which kids are at school and which ones aren't. But what? I'll use my kid as an example.
No, but
Now, if my kid does
in
this,
terms of legalities, how does it work?
Absolutely.
Where a kid who's underage.
and if my kid turned around and said to one of those kids that's working the pool, go and get fucked.
Mm.
I don't have any idea. You can't prove otherwise. And I go, well, we know how old you are. Prove that in a court of law. Fuck off. You don't know shit. You know who I am? Up your bum. I paid my $5. Go away.
Yeah.
What authority, legitimate authority, do they have to be trying to enforce those rules? What sort of an enterprise would put that sort of pressure on not only children, but adults?
Yeah.
Because my 12-year-old's getting relatively solid, and he's one of the smaller kids in that age group. And I'm just using him as an example. I'm not saying he's going to go in there and muscle up on anyone, but there are some big kids getting around.
And there's also that situation where you've got the kids that look 16 and they're 13, and the kids that look 13 and 16.
None of them have ID anyway. Tell you what, 16, 17 getting your driver's license.
I know.
It's a complete load of bullshit.
It's
the entire policy needs to just be abandoned. And I know the argument is, well, we don't have the staff. No, but the staff you do have are certainly not fucking equipped to be checking. No, excuse me, can I see your ID? You child who's in year 7, but you've got a full face beard and you're 6 foot tall.
If you give your staff tasks that are uncomfortable or difficult, or you don't support your staff, then you end up with low workplace morale, and then you end up with high turnover, and you end up with all these other issues.
But even if it's the boss lady down there, right?
No, but I came across a situation where in an organisation, a staff member wasn't supported. They were thrown in the deep end. They had to deal with complaints. They were dealing with a situation that they weren't equipped for. And they hated that role, that part of their job. They hated because they weren't supported by the company. They weren't supported. They had no interest in that.
But even if you're the lady, the adult down there running the show, you're an adult, but you're a fucking pool superintendent. That's not to undermine your job. I'm saying you're not a cop. You're not you're in no way, shape or form in a genuine position of authority.
No.
How are you going to bail up any kid? It works okay for the kids you know. She can turn around and go, right, I know you're not 14 because I know who you are. Which seems a little bit unfair because there's another 20 kids running in there who she doesn't know.
Yes.
Who, I don't know. So then he gets pretty shitty. He's well, I know that, but he doesn't want to be a grass and go and snitch them all up because he's not wired like that. But you look at it, it's just a very, very flawed policy, and you need to just abolish that shit. Right? If they misbehave when they're in there, then you can ask them to leave, and you can go, look, you're banned for X amount of time because you've broken the rules. Existing and being under the age of 14 is not breaking the rules.
And if you don't have stopping a kid that's 13 or stopping a kid that's 12 who can swim like a fish going to the pool. Like, we used to live at the pool, honestly.
Well, and where are they going to next? They're going to go start throwing rocks at shops.
When I was a kid, I would walk out the back gate of the primary school I went to all day in summer, straight across the road
to the pool,
and I would stay there till it shut, and it had shut at 6, so that the pool operator could go home and have dinner.
Yep.
Then they'd come back and they'd reopen at 7. And we'd be sitting on the fence, sitting on the front step at 7.
Waiting for the pool to open.
We'd swim till 9.
Yeah.
And then we'd go home.
Yep.
So we'd go home and we'd have something to eat while they were having something to eat.
Even from the argument with a lot of this shit is duty of care.
We were 10. We were we weren't 14. I was in primary school, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, of course. And we were like, I'm lynch blood and I'm the guy who hates swimming, but they had us all thrown in the pool very early. Neither here nor there. Point was the kids who don't want to go in the water very rarely go in the water. And the kids who are right up for it and good at it are going to do it. But what I'm suggesting is, as a duty of care for the staff, they're at risk. Because how many parents are going to go down there and give that lady a serve over why can't my fucking kid come in here?
Yeah, and
this is bullshit. Or why was my kid singled out, but this mate's
flawed.
It's a massively flawed. I think it was a knee-jerk reaction to something somewhere and needs to be revoked.
Well, the knee-jerk reaction is a case of probably of cost-cutting and...
Cost-cutting, we don't have enough staff. I don't know. Okay, again, open it up. How many drownings have we had at the Barm Edmund pool? Not fucking many. And there's no staff there. The point is having people who are not qualified to be operating as pool cops, being pool cops, is going to end in disaster.
Yes. Now, I found that article.
Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina Former Prime Minister sentenced to death for crimes against humanity over her crackdown. Put women in charge. And yes, I do say funny sexist shit sometimes. And I'm joking because I have a baby daughter and she'll be the queen of the world when I'm finished.
Listen to this. Sheikh Hasina was found guilty of allowing lethal force to be used against protesters, 1,400 of whom died during the unrest last year. This wasn't just a bit of strong arm, capsicum spray and a slap,
They're killing,
a bit of a slap on your way in the back of the
killing dissenters.
They killed 1,400.
Well, tomorrow's got 6,000, so do the math on that, kids.
Hasina 78 was tried in absentia by the International Crimes Tribunal in Bangladesh, having been exiled in India since she was forced from parent. So, is India going to hand her over?
Well, that's always the next level with these things. If she's hiding out over there, she's obviously got some friends there. Posed a diplomatic challenge for India and Bangladesh. Dhaka has formally requested Hasina's extradition. So far as Delhi said, no, we're not doing it.
So, anyway, she won't be going home for Christmas.
She certainly won't be going back to Bangladesh.
No.
I must have a Bangladeshi mate.
Yeah.
He's actually having his first child. I know he doesn't watch the show. He's not that way inclined at all, but he's been a good fella and all that sort of business. And I actually spoke to him about it one day because, again, apparently I'm a racist. When you go, mate, what's it like over there in India? I am not from India. I am Bangladeshi. Yeah. Oh, well, isn't it like the same shit? I don't know. I'm not. I don't care really any more than trying to when you get called.
Ask someone who you've never been there before. Tell me what it's like.
When you get called a Kiwi or something when you're overseas or vice versa or whatever. I am not in India. I am Bangladeshi. Oh fuck! Well, there you go. You want to be? I don't drink. Okay, let's have a tequila then. Yeah. Whatever. Anyway, he's really, really nice fellow. We actually did discuss that a little bit. And apparently the women in Bangladesh are quite revered in political positions. And there's more of it than I guess I would have imagined. But apparently it's not going well.
Well, it hasn't gone well for her, but apparently when you kill 1,400 protesters...
It's a bit wild, isn't it?
Well, that seems to be the...
Because how long ago did this blow-up happen? 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that would explain it. I've sort of known this guy for about 12 months, thereabouts, a bit over that. And when we were talking about it...
So she was found guilty of allowing lethal force to be used against protesters, 1,400 of whom died during the...
That's some real fuck around and find out shit, isn't it? Like,
well, it's not a couple of bloody black eyes and a broken nail.
No.
Like, it's
dead.
It's dead, 1,400 of them. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
What's that? She got a Nobel Peace Prize. You can go back up. Oh, no, Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus installed, right, of an interim government. Yeah, right.
So, I wasn't making it up. So there's been a world leader sentenced to death. Whether that sentence is carried out will remain to be seen.
They usually manage to convince them how to hide in exile, enough money and enough friends. Because a lot of people who are in similar positions think, well, if we don't look after this one, we might be next. That's usually how that's the Epstein shit.
Well, speaking of that.
Well, you look at the Epstein shit, and I've seen Republicans throwing rocks, I've seen Democrats throwing rocks. Thomas Massey has, as always, been fucking dynamite. Thomas Massey is arguably the finest politician in America. But the reality of it is, one, if they had much in there on Trump anyway, it would have been they would have released that under Biden after the first go round. So they're all just protecting each other. They're all just trying to work out how many of their mates were on the island and participating in far too much shady shit. And, I don't know whether he's owned by Mossad or who he's owned by, but he's certainly, Epstein, was certainly running a pretty significant blackmail ring of all these politicians, billionaires, celebrities, and powerful wankers.
I think it's it's the business model that P. Diddy
Yeah, they're all in the same sort of shit. Yeah, that's right, exactly right. That's there's no doubt in my mind that they're all sort of in some way, shape, or form being compromised, whether it's financial, sexual, legal. You know, they're all over the shop.
Apparently, we've got a situation here where
Paul Petty's daughter's in.
she was sharing emails with Epstein.
Yeah.
So
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. That's the artist formerly known as Prince Andrew. For those of you who you know, have kind of missed the boat on that one, he's no longer a monarch because Prince Charlie decided to, oh fuck Andrew, you're a hopeless son. We better get you off the books. It's causing too much of a ruckus.
now, apparently, Kevin Rudd, according to another unconfirmed article, that Kevin Rudd's been mentioned in these emails as well. So,
look, the list is going to be a who's who of everybody in the last 30 years in public life in America is going to come up in that list. Trump will be on that list in that system somewhere. P. Diddy will be on there somewhere. Biden will be on there somewhere. Obama on there somewhere. Yes. We all know Bill Clinton and George W. were loving it.
Well, they seem to have been
those two
frequent flyers.
Frequent flyers, Democrats, Republicans. The only reason that this has taken so long, other than the fact that nobody wanted it to come out, I think, is because purely they're trying to work out who's. They're all running scared. They're all pulling in favors. They're all got guns to each other's heads going, if this comes out your well, Trump's got to go. It's more important than everything. We'll fucking do it. And that's why the Democrats have pushed so hard for it in the last 6 months, but didn't push for it for 4 years when they had the throne.
Yes.
If they wanted it as badly as they're all talking about now, it would have been done.
That's
the only bloke who was consistently from day dot said, I want that fucking list released. Never changed his tune, never went quiet on it, was Thomas Massey. He is fucking spectacular. And Trump tuned him up the other week with the shits, and Thomas just said, listen, I agree with you on about 90% of everything. Pull your fucking head in. And then Trump was silly enough to give him critique over his marriage. Happily married for 30 years. Donald, I like you. I think you're far better than the other fucking fuckwits in the space. Attacking a guy who was happily married for 30 years and he's pretty conservative in his private life by all reports. That's probably not the argument you throw at that guy.
Well,
like I'm trying to teach my 12-year-old. If you're going to throw an insult, make sure it matches the...
It's interesting just to see someone...
Calling a skinny person a fat fuck is probably a bit of a silly insult.
It's an indication that maybe there's an individual that's managed to get into that system and remain in that system without having to sell their soul.
Well,
and when something like this comes to the fore, they've got the integrity to be able to bring it forward.
You've got to have pretty solid courage to be able to do it.
Yeah. You know,
I know a few people sort of when I make a comment
about stones at Temora Shire Council.
Yeah.
But I also worked and have worked for Temora Shire Council for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And if there was any discrepancies with any of the work that I'd undertaken, I imagine they would have pulled that out first.
I would have quite quickly let you know, and they would have waved that around on the TV.
You want to call us out for treating you poorly? Well, here's how you've treated us.
Look at these 50 shit jobs you did.
Yeah.
You know,
they can't seem to find too much along those lines. So,
and no matter if you're looking hard enough, you'll find something. Yeah. That's worth their salt. If they look hard enough, they can find. They'll for cracked tail light. They desperately want to find cracked tail light.
Yes, but a cracked tail light isn't. Like I say, there's people out there who actually just go to work and do that.
Yeah,
the world is majority people with good intentions who go out there and do the right thing.
But if you ever have like a work health and safety guy come onto your site for whatever site, whatever job, whatever industry, or a health inspector, whatever. Right? They're never going to give you 100%. Nobody's like, I've got to do something, otherwise they'll assume you're on the take.
Yeah.
You know, I've had them say it to me. I have to find something. Okay, cool, whatever. I don't really give a fuck. But
even to that, that's another one of the complete bullshit situations that exist in Australia. And I've been a party to it. I've witnessed it where companies will insist you sign the paperwork, you do the induction, you do this, you do that. Then the job starts running behind financially.
Yeah.
And they turn a blind eye, and you can basically do whatever
what, just get it done.
Get the job done.
And you know what? It should be like that from the start. Just get
But-
on with it. Cut the crap.
But
Fuck.
there's no look. There's a strong obligation for people, and the one thing I really do appreciate in this world now is you don't measure the success of a job by body count. People shouldn't have to die to go to work. And any boss that puts conditions in place that are detrimental to people's health really does need to go to jail.
Oh, look, unless you're the Australian government, you're in the military and you're sent off to war.
But even if,
Because that's kind of part of the job.
Chris Minns just lost a major battle trying to water down the psychosocial damage element of the workers' compensation scheme. But I think that when you look at the toxicity of a lot of these local government spaces and these public service, they're dominated by people who are really, they're toxic workplaces, and there's reams and reams and reams of evidence to that effect. So to see Minns trying to water that down because his operations caused 90% of it, it doesn't happen as much in the private sector because people just won't put up with it.
Well, that's right. I don't need your safe job. I'll go fucking off.
Yes.
I've got a bit of talent, I've got a bit of capability. I'm willing to have a go. Bye.
Yes, that's right. And there seems to be some ability for these government departments.
Government departments are a good place for people to go. And again, some people in there are going to go, well, I'm not. I'm amazing. Sure.
Yes.
This isn't a one size fits all, but it is a pretty common hiding place for people with pretty limited skills, pretty limited talent, pretty limited work ethic, who are happy to know they'll do the 38-hour week. They'll get 60, 70, 80, 90, 300, 500 plus grand a year to hide in a government building with very little real world accountability.
When they fuck up, they'll be protected.
There's
no accountability.
Pop it off. That's right.
There's no and they can buck pass and they can duck shove. And
far harder to do it in the private enterprise space.
No,
because if it's a big enough enterprise, maybe you can hide it for a little while. But eventually you get caught out.
Yes. So that's where that's at. Like I say, it's really interesting to see that Minns lost that one.
Well, did you see Minns this morning? I lost my shit a little bit this morning. Apparently the word mates, they're trying to ban that from New South Wales Parliament because these fuckwits on 300 grand a year have nothing better to do.
Well, that's the whole problem, is it? And they're just
dead set. So the exchange from one of the Liberal MPs, I can't remember the idiot's name, was blah, 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 blah. Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Responded by Chris Minns with, da-da-da, mate, to the interjection from some silly fucking idiot Chile on the Liberal Party side going, can we have that retracted? You can't use the word mate in Parliament. It's an inappropriate fucking term.
Look,
to which Minns, to his credit, went, fuck off, this is bullshit.
There can be a menacing challenge to that, and it's like, you stop me, mate.
Well, that's no difference to saying, listen, my friend,
yes,
or anything else can be menacing in the sunshine and rainbows.
Yes.
You can be as menacing as you like when you really want to. It's fucking bullshit. And these people for 300 grand need to shut the fuck up, lower our cost of living across the board, and do their jobs, or every single one of them should be fucking sacked. And apparently the biggest, there's been a heap of them at State Parliament this week. Mark Speakman's gone.
Yeah.
Kelly Sloan's probably a bit prettier to look at, but I don't know that she's any less communist than fucking Speakman. She's just going to be a commie in a dress. Whether she has any principles whatsoever, I guess we're going to find out. And then, of course, our idiot mate stand in Victoria, the Liberal Party, fuck, the sooner they just shut the door on that joint, the better. Needs to go the way of the dodo. They come out with, they look like with that Brad Batten bloke, who I know a couple of people who know the guy, they say he's pretty good. I still think he's a bit of a blue commie, but he was actually in a position to win. They look like, polling-wise, they might actually fucking win an election down in Victoria. So what are we going to do? We're going to change the leadership. Fuck, we can't have that. Heaven forbid we didn't keep this other fucking moron in charge. We're going to have to tank it. And now we put another young lady in who's, I don't know, 25 or something. Now, a really good friend of mine who I do consider quite credible thinks she's amazing. Jess, whatever. I don't really give a flying fuck how amazing she is. She's been thrown in there because they wanted a woman in the job, just because they think it's winnable, and we better make sure that there's a woman who does it. It's definitely some reverse sexism shit. I've got no doubt about it. Because Batten seemed to have been doing a good job. He didn't inspire me, and I wasn't going to join the Liberal Party, but he certainly seemed to be doing a less shit job than many of the other contenders in the space. And somehow now we've got this debacle with our good mate Dougal Saunders, who I believe, as far as friends of the show goes, is a fairly solid political rival of my mate Pete Rothwell for the Dubbo area. Who, if you're out that way, he's the man to look for.
He's put forward one narrative to the public, but there seems to be a backstory, and this has been reported on a news source called The Nightly. Kimberly Bradish has written this on the 18th of November, so a couple of days ago. And her take on it is that Dougal Saunders resigns as New South Wales National Leader after his daughter's OnlyFans Spicy Summer documentary. Now, that's Dougal's daughter there, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, she's not terrible. How she come out of him's anybody's fucking guess. But in saying that, like, none of these people ever leave for the reasons they say they're
just
leaving.
One day after his 19-year-old daughter featured in a documentary about her life as an OnlyFans creator, Dougal Saunders has resigned from his position. So he's probably got a bit of stuff to do at home just to sort some shit out.
No doubt. And look, as somebody who's learning the ins and outs of rapid fire fatherhood at the moment.
But back to this age thing, there's some speculation, and this isn't confirmed, that there's a possibility that a young Ms. Saunders may have been under 18.
When she started doing.
Yeah, because she's only 19 now. She's on a documentary about it. So there's all sorts of layers of levels.
Big old Dukes has thought about porn for far longer than is legally appropriate. I do recall seeing him get up during the whole net zero thing, and he got up and demanded that he believes in net zero and he believes in climate change, and the National Party is foolish if they don't, pray to the net zero gods. So if his daughter's done us all a favour by convincing him to fuck off, well done. What's her name? Has she got a name? Charlie.
Daughter,
Charlie or Willow?
Known as Willow.
Well, there you go. AKA. Well, Charlie, you got your father out of fucking Parliament House. Fantastic. Excellent work. Somebody has to make some of these clowns get out of the top job. In saying that, they've actually booked in an Indian-looking fella, whose name I probably can't pronounce, to take over the leadership of the Nationals because nobody else wanted the job. That's how toxic and fucking broken the Liberal Nationals are.
This news article goes on to say Charlie appeared on the first episode of Spicy Summer, describing how she began producing adult content at 18. So,
well done, Charlie. You've played that well.
Yeah.
So, as long as you didn't upload anything, before you were 18, you might be all right.
But even like I say, it comes back down to how on earth the E-Safety Commissioner is going to manage this space. And look, there's an OnlyFans page, but there's all these private OnlyFans pages where there's just interactions.
There's a million, and they're going to have the 10 that they've blocked and banned this week. There's going to be 40 replacements next week.
Yes.
And one or two of them will take off. And by the time they catch up to that, another 10 will catch up and take off.
So here's a situation we've got the leader of the Nationals at the state level who's just resigned. He was an up-and-comer. He had a future. He had a passion and an ambition.
No,
but obviously he's a young...
relative to politics, he's pretty young, yeah.
And an up-and-comer who looked like he was going to be making quite a career of it. And to achieve leadership of your party at that age, with it all before you, and then to basically just turn tail and run due to some negative press and not manage it. Look, there's 1,000 other reasons why. We don't know why he stood down. But this is
Well,
obviously,
that's the main one. Let's
Well,
be realistic. That
that's one thing.
and I'll tell you, well, as soon as I saw that resignation, before I even saw the OnlyFans thing, I did flick a couple of little text messages to mates of mine that in national
Yes.
jumped.
Hmm.
Oh no, he was pushed.
Hmm.
Of course, pushed because fucking Green Zealot. Because nobody mentioned the OnlyFans, so it might have mentioned a little bit of topping on the cake, really.
Then it could be a
But he certainly wasn't well liked amongst what I would consider the sensible factions. And I say that because if they're talking to me, they must be pretty fucking sensible. You know, the non-lefty factions of the National Party. And I, for one, am glad to see him go. I don't know how this Indian is going to go doing the job. I don't know. That's work real, but honestly, I don't think we're in this country 10 years,
Who knows?
if ever, in my lifetime.
Who knows? Have you had an opportunity to follow up on Fred's Facebook page, Stand Up Coolman?
No, I haven't. Look, I saw he made a post on it the other day.
Yeah.
What's it called? Fred.
Stand Up for Coolman.
Look at you creating the brand.
No, I didn't create the brand. I'm just.
You created Stand Up for Tomorrow. It's now growing. So it looks like he's up to 192 likes with 203 followers.
Nice. Okay, so there's good progress in that space. And again, he's done a pretty solid introduction. So anyone who's interested in anything concerning sort of Coolman Shire Council, Ganmain, Mara, Madong, Ardleth and Beckham, get on there. I think Fred's going to have a pretty positive impact in that space, and just ask a few questions and try and just try and ensure that there's some consistency and some transparency in decision making, some accountability from the people making those decisions, and some everyone knows all we ever want is just fair treatment.
I'd like to abolish the entire government, but my ambitions are a little bit deeper.
Yes, and it'll be replaced by another form of government.
Yeah, that can be abolished as well.
Yes, but
I was watching reruns of Ron Swanson. Did you ever watch that Parks and Rec?
No.
I'll send you a couple of little. You'll enjoy him. He's quite funny.
The ones I used to really enjoy were the Kiwi guy, John Doerr, and what was his name? Anyway, I can't even remember. That's how terrible it is. But they just used to take the piss, and they were just so. It was like the Monty Python Australian Kiwi / version.
Yeah,
taking the piss out of government.
Yeah. No, well, this one's Parks and Recreation's the show.
Yeah. Well, this is.
And the character in there, the particular character, he works for the Parks and Gardens Department, detests government, detests everything about it. When they come in looking for innovation,
It's pretty rude of me because I really have got a lot of respect for the work he did, but.
Who's that?
This I'm just trying to recall the name of this guy. It was he did Fred Dagg. He did a lot of characters.
Actually, I might show over on this while you're looking to find that.
Yeah.
Australia's youngest senator. Now, this is the sort of fucking bullshit that we're paying this child $300,000 a year. I'll try and survive up. So,
John Clark, sorry, I've got it mixed up. John Clark and Brian Doerr. Yes.
We'll do this one because I've started. This is the youngest senator in Australia.
Charlotte Walker, Senator, I'm 21 years old. This is your time to drink water, to eat vegetables, to get a good night's sleep, to slay, and most importantly, to follow me.
Now, that's what we're getting paid some fuckwit $300,000 a year to create. Eat, drink water, sleep, slay, and follow me. Listen, you fucking child. You need to go back to school or go and get a real fucking job. Do something that's not fucking that.
She's a senator.
She's a senator, Australia's youngest senator.
What party does she represent?
She's a Labor Party.
Really?
A fine, outstanding fucking Jesus
Federal
Christ.
senator? State?
Pretty sure she is.
She must be federal.
No, I'm pretty sure she's federal. Charlotte Walker. I can't remember whether she's what electorate she in. And I feel bad because I'm feeling like she's the one who started waffling on and attacking Pauline Hanson about what she knows about life. So you're a fucking child. Shut up.
Yeah.
At 21, I thought I knew lots of stuff too.
I'd like to. So, what's her name?
Senator of Australia, elected as a senator for South Australia. That tells you a lot because they're
What's her
fucking
name?
up. Charlotte Walker,
Charlotte Walker.
senator for South Australia. South Australians have an awful lot to fucking answer for.
I'd just like to know who her parents are.
Well, they need to give themselves an uppercut as well. Look, she was on, I think she was at the back end of a ticket, which does happen in the Australian political system. So I know I used to run tickets at times for the upper house with 16 candidates, with only one realistically having a hope in hell of being elected. It's just part of the political strategy. But she snuck over the line for a 6-year term. Pardon me, I'm pretty sure she was the 6th. Like she was just far enough down the list where they thought she didn't have a hope in hell. And obviously the South Australians are fucking stupid enough to vote that far along the Labor lines that this poor child got into Parliament and now makes high quality videos like the one you just saw with great policy, great leadership, and I feel inspired. I'm going to slay.
She was the president of Young Labor in South Australia. She was working for the Australian Services Union prior to the election. She was pre-selected for the usually unwinnable third spot on Labor's SA.
There you go.
But was elected due to a large swing towards the party. So she got in on a bit of a abnormal landslide.
And she's affiliated with the Labor left, which if you're fucking left of Labor, you're hardcore Greens fuck with. But I will say it, if you're not a bit lefty leaning and ideological like that as a child, you've probably not got much of a heart. It's when you get that bit older that you start to work out real life and you go, oh, hang on a minute, that doesn't add up anymore. Yeah. It's cute when you're a kid because you're going to fix everything with sunshine and rainbows and the unicorns, and the government will just come in with their magic umbrellas and stop the rain and everything will be perfect. And, world peace is going to happen. And then life happens and you start to work out, fuck, that's not how economics works. That's not how any of these things work. Oh, shit, not quite going to cut the mustard.
You'll be familiar with these guys. They're as funny as.
Real people.
We've got to add because we don't pay the corporations.
We don't pay the corporations.
These guys were funny.
Thanks for your time tonight.
It's a great pleasure to be with you, Brian.
Now, you're the head of a major news organisation, aren't you?
Well, I run, Brian, one of the divisions of, yes, by all means, a major media organisation.
Yeah, but you're in the news business is what I'm saying.
Well, technically, yes, Brian, there's a bit of redefinition about what news actually is.
Yeah, there does seem to be a lot of change in this area, doesn't there?
In this space, Brian, is the way we express that. We say changes in this space.
What space?
The space where news used to be, Brian.
So what do you run in the news area where the news
what we're doing, Brian, is we now run an ongoing and permanent, continuous serial drama.
A soap?
It's not a soap, Brian. It's a bit more upmarket than that. I describe it as high-quality, long-running series drama.
Same characters in each?
Regular characters, strong regular characters. You need them, and you need interesting new guest characters coming in.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, you've got the title there, I believe, Brian.
It's The Planet Stupid.
No, there's a comma there, Brian. You don't say it's not as if the planet's name is stupid.
Well, how are you supposed to say?
You're supposed to say it's the planet, stupid.
Oh, and what's the matter with this planet?
Well, the planet's being destroyed by it. They're destroying the planet.
And who's destroying the planet?
The people who live on it are destroying it.
They're destroying their own planet?
They are. That's what they're doing.
So are they fixing the planet?
No, I'll tell you what happens, Brian. There are 3 guys. There's a bloke called Malcolm, and there's Tony, and there's Bill, and they're having a huge fight with each other. Huge fight.
But why aren't they fixing the planet?
Well, because they're having a huge fight, Brian.
Any women in it?
Yes, there are some very, very good secondary roles, but it's mainly about these 3 blokes. Now, Malcolm and Tony used to be friends, but they had a falling out,
and Bill sorts it out, right?
No, he doesn't, Brian. No, Bill's got his own problem. Bill's actually on probation for a knifing incident.
And do Malcolm and Tony knife each other?
Yes, they do. Yes, they're knifing each other all the time. And, of course, there's a new character come in, Brian. I don't want to spoil it for you. You watch the news?
No,
there's a new character in it at the moment called Scott.
And Scott's trying to fix the planet. Is that
No, Brian. Scott used to be Tony's friend, but then he changed his mind.
Because he wanted to fix the planet.
No, because he wanted to be Malcolm's friend.
Right.
And I don't want to worry anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but there's a bit of a problem now between Malcolm and Scott because
What
Malcolm
happened?
had a party.
Yes.
Scott didn't even know it was going to happen.
Oh, goodness me.
So you can see why it gripped the audience.
It's like, hang on. What about the planet? Is anyone fixing the
I
planet?
don't know about the planet, Brian. If anyone's trying to fix it, it's certainly not in the news.
Why not?
I'm telling you what's in the news, Brian. I haven't mentioned it so far.
Is the planet stupid?
No. It's the planet. Stupid.
Well, and I'm telling you, it's like when I was a kid and Yes Minister was on,
Yeah.
I thought it was made up.
Yeah. Except it's not.
It's
And
actually
pretty
an
close
accurate
to
documentary of how the political system works.
absolutely it is. It's fucking wild. When you go back and watch it now with fresh eyes, you go, that's not a comedy.
Yeah, so
That's actually a lot documentary.
John Clark was a Kiwi. He was as funny as a circus, and he passed away a few years ago, and he was a great loss to Australian culture. And
There is no Australian culture. Haven't you been watching the news?
well, come on, mate.
There is
Surely
no.
there is Australian culture, mate.
No, there's not. We're not
Oh,
allowed to have any of
Not
that.
allowed to have any Australian culture.
No.
Well, he was, and they the insights and just the commentary and the stupidity. I think he had a very innate sense of pointing out just how stupid a lot of people really are.
It's a fucking long list.
So
It is a long list.
and it's pretty sad when you actually realise just how stupid some people really are, who think they're very important.
Look, if I had an ability to be funny, which I don't,
No,
I'm not particularly good at humour.
no, you're good at
Um,
indignant, and you're good at pointing out some
Fucking-
shortcomings and raising a revolution. And,
I would love to be as funny as some of these guys because I reckon I could sit there. I reckon I could word it if I had a scribe who could then put it into a comedian's boots. They turn into some funny shit.
yes, well, it's always sometimes the best way to deal with a really adverse situation is with a bit of humour, and
Look-
I employ that a lot. I do pretend and I do laugh at things as opposed to taking them too serious, because some of the things that occur at a council, you'd have to laugh. Or
I'm at the point now where if I laugh, the kids look at me like hang on, like it's something. What's going on there? Like it's a bit of rarity. I did crack up the other day when the kids were watching one of them shows, and it's the silliest things that will make me actually laugh, genuinely laugh, right? Because most things are fucked. It was a kids show, something about trolls and dragons, some fucking thing the kids were watching, and there's this little fat kid with a pot on his head.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you know when you just look up at something and somehow this little fat kid with the pot on his head comes running up. He's got some sort of weapons in his hands. It looked ridiculous, but anyway, it's kind of funny. Anyway, and he goes, "I am Toby, the grandson of Nana," and I just hit the floor. I was fucking done. It was hilarious. They're all doing the knights and whatever, and it just cracked me. It wasn't even that funny. Right, I rolled around for a good 5 minutes just laughing. Riders go, "Are you sick, Dad? It wasn't that funny." Yeah. Although I think he does get a kick when I crack, like on something like that. And I can always remember them because there's so few that actually crack me up in that way,
The best thing about having grandkids is you get to watch all the cartoons again.
Yeah.
I love sitting around watching new cartoons. I used to enjoy watching it with my own kids, but now I get to watch it with my grandkids, and it's a great excuse to sit there
and watch cartoons.
Watch all the kids' shows. And
I do struggle with that. I need to get better at that, like I sit down and watch fucking war documentaries and go, "Right, come and watch this, you might learn something."
Yes. And they see the eyes glaze over.
And the problem is he's like that at first, and then 10 minutes into it, we watched the movie Troy.
Yeah. Well,
Eric Banner.
That's a bit like Clark and Daw were just describing. That's a story.
It's a story around some historical.
And then Scott was friends with Malcolm, and then someone stabbed someone in the back. And
he hates reading, but he actually went and borrowed the book, a book about Troy.
Yes.
From the library.
Yeah.
Well, fuck, that's a win.
Oh,
like trying to, particularly with kids that aren't academic. Like you could never get a book out of my hand when I was a kid. I think I only slowed down on the reading voraciously maybe 10 years ago.
I was given. Remember Larry Pickering? He was a political satirist who was a cartoonist. I got given a book the other day of an old sort of political satire, and I'm sure I'm going to go through it. I'm actually going to sit down on the weekend and read it in my spare time. And I'm going to have some stuff for next week out of this book that I think will have been created 30 years ago,
Yeah.
which is still just absolutely smacking it out of the park today in terms of accuracy and the same message, because I really do believe we're the same animal making the same mistakes on
There is nothing you want to say.
no, and you know the battles that I fight at council, they say fighting against any time is fighting against them, because stupidity isn't being bred out of the country. In fact, it tends to be being encouraged.
Yeah, I think it's being encouraged, and that's the big problem that
Yeah,
we've all got.
So I don't see that anyone who's got common sense or a modicum of intelligence is going to actually be able to exist in the future. I think they're going to have to hit a self-destruct button, because they won't be able to.
Well, that's the whole. That's why they're breaking everyone down and removing that middle class.
Yeah.
Push everyone who's not in the club
Yes.
down into that,
Yeah.
into that worker bee, into that drone,
But
into
it's not
that
even-
welfare cycle.
It's not even a talent. It's not the elite in intelligence and ability go into the gang.
Oh,
In fact, it may well be quite the opposite.
it won't be run on merit,
No.
and eventually it'll burn itself out
Oh,
as the more competent and capable people in the pleb portion of what's left
expose it.
work it out, win the fight, and overthrow the incompetence. But you've just got to go through that pain, and unfortunately,
Yes.
as a society, we're heading for a lot of pain, I believe.
Well, I think the pain has arrived in a lot of
Oh,
spaces.
it's here, but I think it's going to get worse before it gets
There is
better.
no doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, Thursday night. We'll see you next Thursday.
I think we're at that time. Look, I've got a massive weekend coming up. I'm really looking forward to it. Things are going really well. I'm really disappointed that Temora Shire Council spent another 37,000 of ratepayers' money on a code of conduct. And then the code of conduct investigator managed to send 2 pages of that very expensive report to another council. There's all sorts of shenanigans going on. I think it's just sad. But we press on and we do it because we love it.
Well, I'm disappointed that the theatre's gone broke. I'm disappointed that
But the
we're-
council's going.
I'm disappointed that we're $3.5 million in debt, and they're going to want to raise our rates to fund the fact that none of them can count. I'm disappointed that the country's in a lot of fucking trouble, and we don't even have a viable opposition in this country anymore. The one thing that maybe for 200 odd years that kept the joint, and again on 200 odd years, someone's well, it was exactly this year when Parliament had a fuck off, right? But there's always been a reasonably balanced opposition. Government, opposition, government. That's what's kept it all aligned. They've effectively formed the uni party, and what's left of the opposition is just dribs, drabs, dregs, and people grabbing at whatever the fuck they can grab left. I don't believe the Lib Nats are in any way, shape, or form a viable opposition anymore. I think we are going to get to the point where if those 2 parties want to survive, they're actually going to have to welcome One Nation into the coalition.
Well, who'd have thunk it? Little Pauline from the fish and chip shop. She's still in there punching, and she's having a little bit of a moment.
If they wish to create a viable, for a better right-wing alternative, they're going to have to find a way to form a coalition with Nats and Libs that actually have some conservative-y type backbone. Arguably One Nation, arguably a couple of those other minor right parties are going to have to form some sort of a coalition. We're just heading down the rapid super socialist path, and there's going to be nobody to fucking slow it down. So,
No.
I'm not feeling good about that, but case scenario, I'll fix it.
I'm telling you, I'm not trying to be diverted or perverted or subverted. I'm going to have a long, productive, really enjoyable existence.
And I'll just wait for him to assassinate me.
Well, I believe that I've had some attempts that
I'm pretty sure a few have had wet dreams about giving it a crack, but anyway, we'll see how that fucking pans out.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone have a great week. Obviously do the liking and sharing, not just of this show, but all of the content that comes out of good people that you like. Comment on it. It does help the algorithms. And of course, tune in Thursday night for Dean and Ev Spin Doctors.
anyone is more telling tomorrow's Friday.